explain how graphene could be used in biomedical applications to improve people's lives. This is Stan. Stan is blind, but he hopes to be able to take part in a clinical study using graphene devices that could help his eyesight go from pitch black to perceiving shades and shapes. How is this possible? Graphene has the ability to electrically stimulate the nervous system of the brain. There, it could record the electrical activity of the nerves and inject charge into the optical nerve and produce an image from an external camera. But Stan is not the only patient that could benefit from graphene's attributes. His best friend Anna has epilepsy. Anna is following recent studies that show how graphene could be placed into a delicate sensor, able to detect the specific areas in the brain that are responsible for the seizures. That way, clinicians could understand where exactly in the brain the episode is happening and how it can be predicted or even cured. During her research, Anna met Sophia, a scientist. She explained one of the key advantages of graphene devices. Their multifunctionality can both record and stimulate the electrical activity of the brain, as well as locally release therapeutic agents on demand that could offer multiple treatment options. That's also how the doctors hope to be able to help Sophia with the effects of Parkinson's disease. This new generation of thin and flexible graphene-based devices could minimize shaking, tremor, and other motor symptoms. While the graphene flagship scientists focus mainly on blindness, epilepsy, and Parkinson's disease, research in the use of graphene and 2D materials in medicine is expanding globally. Some other biomedical applications currently under development include cancer treatment, tissue engineering, and drug delivery. Some other biomedical applications currently under development include cancer treatment, tissue engineering, and drug delivery. In addition, graphene's thinness, flexibility, and excellent sensing capabilities makes it suitable for use in wearables, providing Stan, Anna, and Sophia basic health checks that they can monitor themselves and use to inform their doctors. Although research on graphene for medicine is still at its early stages, tests show promising results that could offer medical professionals new, multifunctional, and more precise capabilities and help improve the quality of life for millions of patients worldwide.
It may not look like it, but I'm creating one of the strongest and most versatile materials on Earth: graphene. You've probably heard buzz about it. Graphene made big waves back in 2004, and it's knocked around science news ever since.
A global race for graphene.
You know, it's not just limited to one little thing.
One of the greatest discoveries
Graphene
of the
could
21st
be the
century.
key to a lot of mind-blowing technology.
But that was almost 15 years ago. Where are all of the graphene wonders that we were promised? The bulletproof armor, the graphene circuitry, the ultralight airplanes, the graphene medicine.
You can stretch and pull on it, and in fact, a good way to visualize it is that if you had a big enough sheet of pure graphene, you could hold up a soccer ball on just one atomic layer, and that's insane.
Joseph Meany is an analytical chemist who co-authored a book about the promise of graphene. He explained to us that graphene is just carbon, like coal or graphite or diamond. The difference is in how the carbon atoms are bonded together, and in the unique shape that the material takes.
So it's just a single atom sheet. There's no Z dimension to speak of in graphene. And these atoms of carbon are arranged in interlocking or tessellated hexagons, kind of like a chicken wire. The bonds between the carbon atoms are actually extremely strong.
Back in 2004, researchers in the UK discovered that they could produce graphene with some shockingly simple tools: a hunk of a particular type of graphite and some standard issue tape.
Yeah, it was just a very large hunk that you could hold in your hand, and they took the tape and put it down onto the surface of the graphite and just lifted it off.
From there, they used chemicals to dissolve away the tape, and they were left with tiny flakes of graphene with remarkable properties. It's impossibly light, yet incredibly strong. It's flexible, and it's a highly efficient conductor of electricity.
I think it's very easy for the media, for the press to seize on any new scientific or technological development as something that's going to be transformative. You know, scientists come up with these amazing new materials and then everything changes, and of course it never really happens that way.
Philip Ball is a reporter who's written a bunch about the graphene hype machine, and I asked him to throw some cold water on the story.
Hello?
Hi, is this Philip Ball?
It is, yes.
Hi, how you doing? This is Corey calling from The Verge.
Hello, Corey. Of course, with any new technology, the reality is it generally takes years to develop it. It would be unreasonable to expect graphene to transform our lives overnight.
The uphill battle for any new material is that it can't just be better than existing technology, it has to be much better. Philip says that's the issue with graphene replacing silicon in electronics.
Certainly there are companies who are exploring its use as a conductive electronic material, but of course we already have such materials, and graphene has really got to have big advantages over what we have already if it's going to displace what is already a well-established, mature technology.
But that's not to say that graphene hasn't gone anywhere in 15 years. We found some engineers who are making materials with graphene today. Materials that could one day even end up in spaceships. The company is Vorbeck Materials, and their president, John Leto, showed me how far they've come with graphene mass production. And he gave us a free sample. Literally just like floating in the vial.
And so if you open that up, you can take out, this is a bag of about 1.5 kilograms of graphene fits in a 30-gallon container. So it's very light, sort of very voluminous in its sort of raw state.
Vorbeck is introducing its manufactured graphene powder to all sorts of industrial and consumer products, like RFID tags, clothing, and even rubber.
So you take the graphene, you blend it into rubber, and in rubber they use sort of big blenders almost that beat the rubber around, mix the graphene into it, and what you get by mixing the graphene with the rubber is very high temperature capabilities and also very high strength.
And on the electronics front, Vorbeck has created graphene-based inks that can be printed in mass on standard printing presses. When printed on waterproof fabrics, they can be washed, heated, ironed, wrinkled, and twisted without damaging the circuits. This is extremely promising for the future of graphene-based wearable electronics, which John says we should be on the lookout for in 2019.
What we really hope is that we can walk into a room 5 years from now, and most people in that room will have an article of clothing that has graphene wearable electronics in it.
So there are big things happening with graphene. We just have to be patient, and we can't believe everything we read about it.
What we want them to know is that this device that you're using works better for longer than anything else you can get. And whether it has graphene in it, whether they advertise it and use that hype as part of the marketing or not, is sort of completely irrelevant. It just is better.